Hello, my name is Daniel and welcome to one of my beautiful walks today. I would like to talk to you about being nice. Some people like to use the word karma, whatever you want to call it. I've always believed that what goes around comes around. There are a lot of people that will try to get in the way of other people, and I try to avoid those people in my life as much as I can. Quite often you can't change other people, but what you can do is avoid them and avoid the headaches and the problems that come with those people. Now obviously a lot of times you can't avoid angry, nasty, horrible people because you work with them, or they're your family or whatnot. But I work hard to surround myself with nice people who you can work with easier and better. Short term, I can tell you that a lot of people who are not nice may win. But long term, only nice people win. If you look at the most successful people in life, they tend to be really nice, appreciative of what they've got. Of course, there's always a minority, but I'm talking about most of them. If you work with people who are nice, you will get further in business and work. I find that nice people tend to be more confident, but in a way that is humble. I want to tell you a story about karma. And sometimes we go through life and we don't really think about the things that are happening around us. But when you look back, sometimes over decades, you can see that it's ironic how things unfold in life. I want to go back to the 60s and the 80s and tell you about my family. So, picture in the 60s, my grandmother married to my grandfather, and she was absolutely jealous of him to the point where she didn't want him seeing his own mother. Now, he was an only child, and his mother lived hundreds of miles away, which at the time in the 60s, they didn't see each other very much. And as it happened, his mother wanted to come for a visit. Well, without him even knowing, my grandmother had written a letter to her saying, well, our family, we've got 4 children, we haven't got the money or the conditions to have you here visiting, and we'd rather you don't interrupt us and bother us. And as it happened, my great-grandmother shortly after that passed away. So my grandfather never ended up seeing his mother, partly because of my grandmother, his wife, who was very jealous and didn't want any bother. Now fast forward the story about 20 years. In the late 80s, my grandmother with my grandfather, who had 4 children, one of those children moved away, again, a couple thousand miles away, hadn't seen her son for about 6 or 7 years. And so it happened that she started planning a holiday to go and see him. She had sorted all the documents, she had sorted her trip, everything was ready to go. She was meant to leave and go see her son the next day. She came home in the evening, opened the door, had a heart attack, and dropped dead right there and then. Think of karma. Now obviously that was very upsetting to my uncle, but think of the karma of my grandmother, who so wanted to see her only son, and life wouldn't let her. Now, maybe it's very coincidental, maybe there's absolutely nothing in this story, but I somehow see that that has some sort of a karma thing in it. It has a what goes around comes around. My point is, always be nice, always be helpful. People will notice you for that. The nicer, the more helpful you are, people will notice and they will work with you, not against you. There's no point complicating life. There's no point working hard with people who don't appreciate you. You deserve better, you are better. There's no need for arguments and fights in this life. It's such a beautiful life. We're only here once. Why don't you enjoy it? Win by being nice. Thank you very much for listening.